it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I get to welcome you to a wonder-filled Wednesday. I got Jay in the building. We're going to be talking about the hood healer, y'all. She is bringing some healing to the community, and I'm so glad that she is joining me today in the studio. But as always, I'm glad you're joining as well. This is the perfect time for you to go ahead and share this show. Since we're at the top of the show, you might as well go ahead and share it with folks who you feel could benefit from our daily dose of dopeness we work to give you here on the Day with Trae. As always, if you can't watch us, don't trip. We got you covered. You can surely listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and the Day with Trae. You'll also find us there. Well, before I get into it with Jay today, I got to say there's something really special around family time, right? And so a lot of families are getting together. What was it? Just Easter this past weekend. For those who celebrate, I'm here for y'all. It's so funny because I didn't realize it was Easter Sunday, y'all, this past weekend. I had no idea. So I'm like, oh, we should do a family dinner, maybe Sunday. I'm not even thinking about it. And, you know, it's funny because no one said anything to me. No one was like, you know what? Absolutely. We were already going to try to get together for like that didn't even happen. So I'm so grateful for family time. And I was talking about spending time with my son, but there's also something really special just about getting together with family. And whether you do that on the traditional holidays or you create your own times, the open opportunity to connect with family members while they are alive with us on this plane in their physical bodies is so important. And I am grateful because as my family, you know, we have people in the family now who are having more babies. I got little nieces and a little nephew, you know, that have just joined us as new additions to our family in the last, I don't know, almost year, I think. Not all of them are even quite a year, but of course my grandbaby, you know, just kind of started this other chain of births. And so I think about all these cousins being able to know each other, to grow up together like I got to do with my cousins. And it's so beautiful to watch family progress over time. And I'm grateful because I just get to be a cool auntie, a really cool grandma, you know, while also being a mother still and a daughter and a sister, right? And a cousin. So all of those things are so special to me. And I'm spending time with my family, y'all, intentionally. And I wanted to call that out today as we think about how we are building relationship and continuing to build relationship with those who are our first circle of influence. Now, some may have some rough issues with family, and I get it. But one thing I want to encourage anyone to do is if you still have family members who are breathing and in their bodies, in their vessels, I ask that you try to find a way to be at peace with who they are and allow them to be at peace with who you are, because there's nothing greater than the strength of real family. And sometimes it might not be blood, and that's okay too. Sometimes it is chosen family, and I'm here for all of it. So whoever you call your family, reach out to them today. Be reminded to build relationship. Offer to go meet someone for lunch or do a yoga class together or go see a play together. But spending time is so valuable, y'all. Let's make sure that we are using our time purposefully while we are here, okay? Well, after this short break, up next, we got Jay in the building, and we're going to be talking all things hood healer, y'all. I'm so excited to get into this. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
This May, Seattle Opera presents Carmen. Iconic melodies make Carmen irresistible. Don't miss Carmen, May 2nd through 17th at McCaw Hall. Details at seattleopera.org.
Welcome back, y'all, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now, we got Jay in the building. Hi, Jay.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad you can make it to the Black Media Matters studios.
Oh yeah, this is cute.
Yeah,
This is cute.
Well, it's great to have you here because, I have been doing some of my own healing with natural herbs. So when I saw your booth, I was like, oh my gosh, the Hood Healer. I love this concept, first of all. Great name.
Thank you.
Great marketing. But I wanted to ask you about how you got started because I think there's so much information out there. Yeah. Trying to decipher it, I think, is one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of folks that are looking at holistic practices and trying to maybe relearn them because a lot of these are ancient practices. Yeah. What got you started?
Yeah, so being a Black woman trying to heal in the allopathic health system was really how I started. And then seeing people around me kind of fall victim to being a test dummy in these spaces. I ended up being a test dummy in those spaces. And I finally went to a naturopathic doctor, and she gave me one herb that I use till this day. And I noticed such a difference. And I just started digging deeper into further healing myself. And then I started healing people around me, people that were facing similar things. And then I started having people come to me dealing with things that I never dealt with before and having to help heal them. So I never want to say I'm a healer, but I do assist in the body's healing with herbs and with naturopathic health. So yeah, that's how I started.
Wow. This is what I love about it is it's almost like there's a calling. So I love how it starts with self. I connected with an herbalist in South Africa earlier this year, and it was so great to connect with her because she was like, look, I just healed myself. And then when it worked, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Now I can just share this with other people because it worked for me. And so much of that is like this self-reflection piece that allows you to then be, I love how you talked about being an assistant in the body's healing, for other folks. What type of herbs, I got to ask, like, in terms of some of those, you talked about one herb that kind of was changing. Yeah. What was that herb, and what are some others that you've really incorporated into your practice?
Yeah, my favorite herb is chaste berry. It's often called Vitex. It's a berry that often comes in like a capsule form or a tincture form. I used to get it as a capsule, but then I started getting so deep into herbs, so into like natural lifestyle. I ended up buying the chaste berries and just grinding them up myself. And just like sprinkling it on my food, sprinkling it with some water, whatever. It is amazing for hormonal balance. That is the number one herb I recommend to all women, if I'm being quite honest. Black women especially, we deal heavily with fibroids, and so I'm digging deeper into that, doing a lot of studies, doing a lot of research, talking to a lot of doctors about it, trying to see kind of how they've healed these things and what they've seen it stem from. And a lot of the findings I'm seeing are astronomical. It has a lot to do with the body's detox pathways, and just like how blockages are created from the meat we eat, dairy, and this push for protein diets in the community is really, really ruining us. It's affecting us heavily, men and women. It's filled with estrogen, and so that definitely creates an imbalance for us, and that causes a buildup in our reproductive system. And so that's been my favorite type of herbs, are the ones that are gonna like minimize and shrink fibroids and promote hormonal balance. So chaste berry is the number one. Another one I would do is motherwort for women facing menopause and perimenopausal phases and symptoms. That is the best herb for like hot flashes and a lot of the stress they might be going through.
Wow. This is what I love so much about this whole conversation, Jay, is I always talk about ancestral practices like having a rebirth right now. I don't know if you're feeling the same, but it's like this idea that our ancient ancestors, knew how to cure the body, how to have, pain-free childbirth. I mean, so many things that seem so far-fetched to us now because we're so connected to Western medicine, but there are so many examples historically that showcase how we healed ourselves with what was growing out of the earth. And I'm so grateful because it was like affirming for me. You know, when I think about some of the ancient practices that I have really began to incorporate into my lifestyle, you know, things like veganism and you know, Kemetic science, spiritual practices, like understanding why I'm here and what I'm here to do and how do I deepen my understanding and live in that purpose has been so beneficial to me. But I love being able to see it kind of spread in all of these different ways. And no matter what, like, kind of resonates with you, there's this reminder for me of like, hey, there's this little nudge, like you're supposed to be helping people do this, like remember how to do this so that you can help other people do this. And so practicing qigong and has also been in meditation work has been so vital for me. So I love being able to have these kinds of conversations. Now when people come to you, clearly you have to figure out, like, okay, what is it they're dealing with? How do you do that intake process when folks are first approaching you?
I immediately start with labs that they've received from their doctors. So I work with Western medicine alongside to see what kind of diagnosis they've given them, look at their blood work, see what the doctor has said, what medicines they've been taking and how long they've been taking them and ignoring these side effects. And then I listen to them. I listen to how they're feeling. I listen to what they're eating. And a lot of times, that's an iffy one too, okay? Because people like to lie. Yeah. Okay, like a lot of people like to lie about what they're eating. You know, I eat this and this, but what else are you eating? Yeah. Like, you know, I love my mama, I do. But she gonna harp how she been eating dragon fruit here and there, but she not gonna talk about that McDonald's she had yesterday, you know? So sometimes I like to ask, you know, spouses, hey, what she be eating? And what he be eating, you know, and get some real accountability going. So I after I do that, I look at all of that, see what they're going through, and then I'll immediately get to the root of the problem. So I have a root process. It's regulation, optimization, observation, and tools. So I start with regulation, and that stems from stress most of the time, especially with Black people. So like in our community, we are striving every day to be perfect, to be great, to beat norms, to beat these stereotypes, to whatever in this world. And so we face a lot of stress. And stress is the root of a lot of issues with the body. People don't realize your organs are literally shutting down because they're trying to compensate for the stress that you're facing. Inflammation in your body that comes from stress. Even fibroids are linked to stress heavily. So a lot of that stuff, I start there. It's as simple as sleep. A lot of people don't understand. They think it's cute to say, oh, I only need 3 hours. I only need 4 hours. No, you need 7 and 8. That's a necessity because your body needs time to heal over time. So I try to get to the basics of what people are facing. I try to, like, that's where the optimization part comes in. I don't want to turn people's lives upside down. I want to see where we can fit healthy into the lifestyle, and then move from there. So it's all about like progress. It's not perfection. It's hard to turn your life from day and night in a day. Like you can't do that. You have to like slowly incorporate the herbs, see where medicine you can kind of wean yourself off and incorporate herbs. I like to ask people, have you ever gone a day without taking this medicine? How'd you feel? Okay. Have you ever gone 2 days, 3 days? And then I go from there. Okay. Maybe the day that you decide not to take this, we supplement with this herb and see how you feel from that. And then it just all depends on the dosages of the herbs. Herbs have a dose too. You can overdose on herbs. A lot of herbalists don't talk about that. You have to be careful. And that's why it's a practice. It's a study, and you have to go to school for it. So yeah, it's a long process, but it's so worth your health, you know? Mm-hmm.
Wow. And now I think you're absolutely right. You know, the one thing that I recognize in incorporating new practices is an overload of information and sources. Now that the internet is just what it is, social media is what it is, how you identify those trusted sources becomes like a whole nother task for folks, right? Like, I know you know this. I mean, that, you know, that now I can do a quick course online and all of a sudden I have my credentials. And so much of this depends on how much you're doing the study to go back, look at those books, look at how herbs have been used over time. So I love that you share that, because I think that's also a thing we're dealing with nowadays, where there is such a capitalism just like disrupts so many things. Because like, oh, if people are paying for that, maybe I should get my certificate. Like, but you don't care about it.
You make money off of doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, but what's your calling, baby? Do you even care about that?
That's what I'm saying. So I know for me, I was very skeptical, and I just went with people that I know that have done it before, or folks that I know that are really stewards of the study. Like they have the books and they read them and they are really studying. So I am grateful that I had some of those folks in my life, but I know that's not the case for everyone. What are some of those tips that you tell folks? Because obviously, as people find you being a trusted source, what kind of ways do you kind of see that industry in terms of what folks should be looking for?
Yeah. That took me a minute. I had to look at what really resonated with me. I'd see a lot of people on YouTube, different races, talking about like what to do for their bodies, and it didn't resonate with me. But then Dr. Sebi came across my timeline. Yakai awakened. Yakai Rafai Elohim, Dr. Yakai Rafai Elohim is probably my greatest resource, I will say. He's a mentor to me, a master herbalist, and a biochemist. And those two, I don't think people understand how heavily they work together. Biochemistry and herbalism are important together. You need to understand what the herbs are actually doing inside the body, what they're doing to each of your organs. Like that leads you to a deeper understanding of the foods that you're eating and how you're living your life. It's not just about, oh, this herb is good for headaches. Oh, this herb is good for acne. Oh, this herb, no. Why is it good for acne? Oh, because it's detoxing your liver, because it's detoxing your detox pathways. It's making room for you to like be beautiful. And a lot of people don't understand that. So I think paying attention to the knowledge of who you're listening to, especially when it comes to us, Black people, we are vastly different than any other race. It's been said that we have 150 trillion cells, while other races have far less cells than that. Between the extra carbon and melanin we have in our skin, we're totally different. We're totally different. That's why Black women are more prone to getting fibroids. Black people in general are more prone to getting sick because we have far more cells than the average person. So our body is constantly in a state of like fight or flight and just trying to like regulate itself. So paying attention to what resonates with you, trying for yourself, do the research. And you're right, Google, there's a lot of stuff on there. Yeah. I don't even know. I would say Dr. Layla Africa, Dr. Sebi, look at the greats, look at people who have healed, who have a repertoire, who have a portfolio of healing testimonies in our community specifically. And so that's who I pay attention to. Yeah.
Wow. No, I'm so glad I asked you that, because it was one of those things that I know for me, I just was a bit overloaded with the information. And I was like, and to be honest, it kind of had me go, I'm just not even going to go there. I'm just going to list, I have a naturopathic doctor, thank God, a Black woman, thank God.
Okay,
right. So right. So I'm just like, I'll just work with the, the expert. I don't need to become the expert. But as I got herbs from South Africa, I started to really experience such a change. And my herbalist there said, look, I'm just going to teach you as you heal yourself, then you can help other people. And I thought, that's the way that it was passed down from generation to generation back in the days when we had that village lifestyle, right? It was very different, where there were certain people who were known to be that person in that village to go to, because they understood the land and they had done the research and they had been taught by somebody before them. And so it's beautiful, because when I think about how this is happening now, I'm so grateful for the work that you're doing. It is so necessary in today's world. Last question for me is, I want to make sure I give you the time so people can know how to find you as they're on their own healing journey. If they are looking for something specific and they just need that guidance. You have an incredible platform.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely incredible. Y'all, when I called her, it has all the options for you. You pick a number, she's guiding you through it. Okay. So please, look right here. Let folks know how they tap in with you.
Yeah. My website is hoodhealer.org. You can find anything you need on there, from herbs that I ship, and from my consultations to my full root program, the regulation, optimization, observation, and tool program. It's a 3-month plan. You can also enroll in a monthly basis where I send you all the herbs that we've discussed for your plan. I have people on this plan for years who have noticed their lab tests and scores improve, and they just continue on the herbs throughout their life. So yeah, if you're interested in booking working with me or interested in learning more about holistic health, holistic healing, reach out to me, hoodhealer.org.
Wow. Jay, this is so incredible. Thank you for what
Thank
you
you.
do and for being here and for doing the research and the work. You're clearly in the zone you're supposed to be in.
Thank
and I'm
you.
so grateful to you. Also, the last thing I just want to say is I want to just bust the myth that we have to live with these things that they said you could never get rid of.
That is a lie. Yeah. So the first thing I want to say is disease. That word and that concept. It is dis-ease. Saying disease is something that you feel like you have to carry for your entire life. It's not that. It's your body trying to regulate itself. Your body is your greatest asset, your greatest tool. It is working for you, working for your health. So all these symptoms you might see, inflammation, you might have headaches, you might have pain here and there. It's not your body fighting you. It's your body trying to tell you there's a problem somewhere. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's the myth buster right there. All these things can be healed. All these things can improve at the very least. And sometimes it takes a little longer, and that's okay. But the point is to start that process so you can see progress.
Yeah, start the process so you can see progress.
Okay.
There we go. Come on, coin that one. Thank you so much, Jay, for being here. Anytime you have events or updates, the Day with Trae is here for you, all right?
Thank you.
Always. Wow, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. Wonder-fillment, okay? I just made up that word because I am so inspired. Of course, I'm going to wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae. Now's your chance to join the Days to Come Reading Challenge to ignite the civic imagination needed for racial repair in Washington state. Read, discuss, and take action until Juneteenth to bring Dr. King's vision of a truly just society to life. Visit saarcpnw.org for more information.
This May, Seattle Opera presents the return of Bizet's celebrated classic, Carmen. A mesmerizing story of obsession, dazzling sets, elaborate costumes, and iconic melodies make Carmen irresistible. Don't miss Carmen, May 2nd through 17th at McCaw Hall. Details at seattleopera.org.
Welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Huge shout out to my guest today, Jay, hoodhealer.org. Y'all heard it from her herself. You know, learning from some of those who have really been such stewards and studying the practices. She herself said, look, I need to dedicate my time, my energy to this healing for myself. And now that works. Let me heal other people. What I love about this concept is that there are ways that the herbs that are of this earth can support you healing your body. So much of this is not only about discipline, because she mentioned it. What you put inside of your body can either be fueling you or can also be hurting you. And you have to be mindful of what ingredients you are using to put into your body and into your family's bodies, your kids. All of that is so important. But it goes back to the fact that we have ancient practices that are rebirthing themselves. I mean, I'm telling you, they never went away, but it feels like now we have direct access to folks like Jay who are doing this work on the ground and can help usher us into our own healing. So of course, if you out there are finding yourselves in need of healing, you're wanting to try something different, she is using your direct results from your labs and everything else to try to customize a plan for you. So I encourage you to reach out if you are in need or you know someone in need where other things may not be working and you are trying to find another solution. Please go to hoodhealer.org. Check her out. Check out her services and heal yourself. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I'll wrap up the week with you on Friday. And until then, at 11 a.m., peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences.
Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.